Welcome back to the Daily Threat, your go-to source for the latest in cybersecurity news and analysis. Today we have a packed episode with critical updates on several pressing cybersecurity threats affecting organizations worldwide. We'll be diving deep into VMware Vulnerabilities, a new phishing service targeting Microsoft 365 accounts, and the alarming rise in credential compromises via social engineering. Let's get started. Our first story today revolves around the critical vulnerabilities discovered in VMware products, which have sent ripples through the cybersecurity community. VMware has issued patches for multiple critical vulnerabilities that, if exploited, could allow attackers to gain control over affected systems. These vulnerabilities are present in VMware's vRealize operations and Cloud Foundation. The vulnerabilities were discovered by security researchers who identified several issues, including remote code execution (RCE) vulnerabilities. These flaws allow attackers to execute arbitrary code on the underlying operating system. Specifically, CVE 2023-20877 and CVE 2023-20876 have been highlighted as critical, with CVE 2023-20877 allowing unauthenticated users to execute arbitrary code. Attackers can exploit these vulnerabilities by sending specially crafted requests to the vulnerable VMware instances. This can be done over the network, making it possible for remote attackers to compromise systems without physical access. The vulnerabilities stem from improper input validation and insufficient sanitization of user-supplied data, which is a common entry point for such attacks. The risks posed by these vulnerabilities are substantial. If exploited, attackers can gain full control over the affected systems, leading to potential data breaches, deployment of malware, or even full-scale ransomware attacks. Organizations relying on VMware products for their critical operations could face severe disruptions, financial losses, and reputational damage. To mitigate these risks, it is imperative for organizations to immediately apply the patches released by VMware. Conduct regular vulnerability assessments to identify and address any potential security gaps. Implement network segmentation to limit the exposure of critical systems. Ensure that only necessary services are exposed to the internet and that robust firewall rules are in place. Our next story focuses on a new and sophisticated phishing service named ONNX, which is specifically targeting Microsoft 365 accounts at financial firms. This service, discovered by security researchers, has been linked to multiple successful phishing campaigns designed to steal login credentials. ONNX operates as a phishing-as-a-service platform, providing cybercriminals with the tools and infrastructure needed to launch effective phishing attacks. It offers customizable phishing kits that mimic the login pages of Microsoft 365, tricking victims into entering their credentials. Attackers distribute phishing emails that contain links to the fraudulent login pages. These emails are crafted to appear legitimate, often using company logos and language that mimic real communications from trusted sources. Once a victim clicks the link and enters their credentials on the fake page, the information is captured and sent to the attackers. The risks for financial firms are particularly high. Compromised Microsoft 365 accounts can lead to unauthorized access to sensitive financial data, client information, and internal communications. This can result in significant financial losses, legal liabilities, and damage to client trust. To defend against such phishing attacks, businesses should educate employees about the dangers of phishing and train them to recognize suspicious emails. Implement multi-factor authentication (MFA) for all accounts to add an extra layer of security. Use email filtering solutions to block malicious emails before they reach users' inboxes. Regularly update and review security policies and procedures to adapt to evolving threats. Our final story highlights a growing trend in credential compromises facilitated through social engineering tactics. Recent reports indicate a significant increase in these types of attacks, with attackers leveraging human psychology to bypass technical defenses. Social engineering attacks come in various forms, including phishing, pretexting, baiting, and tailgating. Attackers often impersonate trusted individuals or authorities, manipulating victims into divulging confidential information or performing actions that compromise security. Phishing. Attackers send emails or messages that appear to come from legitimate sources, tricking victims into revealing their passwords. Pretexting. Attackers create fabricated scenarios to convince victims to provide sensitive information. Baiting. Attackers leave malware-infected devices, such as USB drives, in public places, hoping victims will pick them up and use them. The impact of social engineering attacks can be devastating. Once credentials are compromised, attackers can gain unauthorized access to corporate networks, steal data, and carry out further attacks. These breaches can result in significant financial and reputational damage. To protect against social engineering attacks, organizations should foster a culture of security awareness among employees, encouraging them to be vigilant and skeptical of unsolicited requests. Conduct regular training sessions and simulations to keep employees up to date on the latest social engineering tactics. Implement strict verification processes for any requests involving sensitive information or access. Monitor for unusual activity within the network to quickly detect and respond to potential breaches. That wraps up today's episode of the Daily Threat. Remember, staying informed and vigilant is key to protecting your organization from ever-evolving cyber threats. Make sure to subscribe to the Daily Threat to keep up with the latest cybersecurity news and insights. Stay safe, stay secure, and we'll see you next time on the Daily Threat.